In this movie, influencers must reach 1 million followers to secure sponsorships and live their dream lives. However, unbeknownst to most of them, there's a dark twist behind the flamboyant facade. The film begins in a lively city in Thailand, where two young girls are having fun in a nightclub. One of them, Chloe, has over 1 million followers, alongside her friend Jane Fisher, who also boasts 1 million followers on the Fame app. While enjoying the moment, Chloe receives a text from one of her sponsors requesting a meeting for a collaboration. She tells Fisher about it and, realizing she'll be alone with some potentially dangerous people lurking around, she decides to take her along to a yacht where she was last seen. Back in South Dakota, USA, a beautiful young woman named Carissa Dennis has just 1,000 followers. She works on her dad's horse farm. After taking a quick selfie for her followers, she posts it. At that moment, her younger sister, Charlotte Dennis, who has about 6,000 followers, sees her post and thinks it's boring and lacks quality context. She decides to help Carissa take some shots from better angles. Meanwhile, during dinner, their dad mentions that he'll be working in a warehouse now that they can't afford his medical bills after his back surgery. He reveals that they're currently in debt and need about $400,000 to clear it. Carissa offers to help by saying she will get a job, and together they can pay off the debt and keep their farm. Their dad is worried about who will take care of the farm, but Charlotte says that she will handle that even though she have to quit her school. Carissa starts looking through the internet for job openings but quickly becomes discouraged by the low pay. Charlotte cheerfully checks Carissa's page and sees that she now has over 700 likes on her last post. She urges Carissa to use tags to increase engagement and suggests following and tagging famous influencers like Jack of Spades, who has over 23 million followers. Charlotte tells her that this could be an opportunity to reach 1 million followers, land a sponsorship deal, and finally pay off their debt so their dad won't have to work in a warehouse. Carissa doesn't take her sister seriously but likes a picture of Jack anyway before posting a picture of herself with her guitar. The next morning, Carissa wakes up to find she has more than 7,000 followers and a direct message from Jack of Spades. She can't believe her eyes. Jack commends her posts and invites her to hang out with him and his cool friends in Thailand. Carissa is in disbelief until Jack asks her to pick a number and sends a picture of him holding up 3 fingers, proving he's not bluffing. He informs her that once she's made up her mind, he'll forward all the information she needs. She shares the news with her family. Charlotte is excited seeing that she now has over 12,000 followers, while their dad watches in utter confusion, wondering what's going on. Carissa tells him everything and asks for his permission to go to Thailand for the collaboration. However, their dad thinks it's one of those scams he's been hearing about on the news and doesn't want to risk having his daughter falling into the hands of bad people. Carissa points out that this could be an opportunity for her to change their lives and help pay off the debt so he doesn't have to work in a warehouse. After a while he reluctantly agrees and Carissa excitedly texts Jack back, informing him that she's ready. He then replies that a limo will pick her up the next day. Finally, the day arrives, and her family bids her farewell, reminding her to always keep in touch. She arrives at the Thailand airport, where a poster of missing Fisher is mounted on a wall near the security stands, but she's too excited to notice. While texting her sister to let her know she's just landed in Thailand, a guy bumps into her. He introduces himself as Jenner, with over 800,000 followers. He reveals he's also one of the few influencers called by Jack to come for collaborations. Outside, they meet another influencer known as Malcolm Vex, popularly called Miami, who has over 1 million followers. He's there to pick them up and show them the villa where they'll be staying. Upon arriving at the villa, Carissa is somewhat shocked to see many influencers and is stunned by the beautiful views. Just as she's about to take a picture, Fiona, another big influencer anchoring the sponsors, instructs everyone not to take pictures in the villa and uses the opportunity to tell everyone to give up their phones. At that moment, Jack gives a speech introducing himself as the host of the company who wants to collaborate with them, announcing that their current sponsor is Vrap, a company that produces vodka. He mentions that since they are working for the sponsors, every picture will be filtered before being posted on their pages to ensure everything aligns with the sponsors' tastes. However, while in the villa no one takes pictures or text, Jack drops his phone first, making everyone do the same. Jack informs everyone that they will be wearing wristbands so that even if they get lost, they can be easily located. He takes a keen interest in Carissa, who expresses her concern about feeling out of place among so many influencers. Jack reassures her that he will help her every step of the way, but first, they need to party. Carissa remains worried that what she came for isn't what it seems, but Miami helps her understand that the people she sees around her might be the collaborations she needs, not what she initially expected. They encourage her to relax and enjoy the moment, reminding her that only a few people in the world get to experience what they are experiencing. As everyone settles into their various rooms, Miami provides a voiceover explaining that the sponsors pay for everything they experience while in Thailand. He outlines the 4 main categories of influencers: taste, lifestyle, punk, and skin. Taste influencers focus on food and fashion, showcasing the latest and most exclusive content in those categories. Lifestyle influencers sell life experiences, traveling the world and living a lifestyle that many wish they could afford. Punk influencers focus on bodybuilding, fitness, and well-being. Skin influencers represent the sexy side of influence, dealing with female body part exposure and exotic beauty standards. Carissa falls into the lifestyle category. Jack calls her up to join them in their meeting, where Carissa reveals that her purpose for trying to be an influencer is to pay off her family's $400,000 debt. Jack's reaction clearly shows he doesn't have that kind of money. He tells her that to land a sponsorship that could generate that kind of money, she needs at least 1 million followers, and currently, she only has 18,000. Jack promises to help her reach that threshold. At the meeting, he gives everyone their phones back and instructs them to take as many pictures as possible. As lifestyle influencers, they need to showcase their experiences while being mindful to stay away from trouble, especially from a group that typically wears red bandanas. Later, while on the beach, Jack joins Carissa to fulfill his promise. He takes a picture with her and tags her, hoping to help her gain more followers. During dinner, Fiona asks everyone to bring out their phones to take pictures of their meals. Although Carissa, being a Christian, is about to bless the food, she feels awkward seeing everyone taking pictures. Jack notices Carissa's innocence and can't help but smile. That night, everyone has fun and parties like it's their last day on Earth. They take pictures that Fiona approves before posting them on their fame pages, ensuring the sponsored drinks appear in the images. The next day, Carissa wakes up with a hangover. Miami tries to help her recover by taking her to a local restaurant alongside Jenner. At that moment, the Red Bandana Gang enters the restaurant to collect their taxes. When the store owner can't provide enough, the gang boss starts causing a scene. Jenner intervenes by punching one of them, escalating the situation. Just then, Jack arrives with other guards and warns the gang leader that they had an agreement to stay away from their models. The gang leader doesn't care, stating that they are the ones who came to their territory. Jack warns him to stay away from them, or there will be an outright war. Back at the villa, Jack is furious with Carissa for going out so far, saying it's never safe for her. He adds that if not for the tracking device on her, they wouldn't have found her. Carissa realizes that Jack genuinely cares about her, and he reveals that in the world of influencers, almost everything is faked, but he sees her as real. The following day, everyone is introduced to the CEO of Wrap, their sponsor company, who announces that one of them will get to be the face of the product with a reward of $500,000. Everyone will compete for it, but they need over 1 million followers to qualify. Carissa feels sad that she still hasn't reached 1 million followers. At that moment, Fiona grabs her and warns her to stay away from Jack, claiming they are together. However, another influencer approaches Carissa and tells her that Jack and Fiona broke up 2 years ago, and Fiona is just jealous that Jack is happy with someone else. That night, before going to bed, Carissa receives a text from her sister informing her that their dad has taken the warehouse job, and his back pain has worsened. With strong determination to secure the sponsorship, Carissa tells her sister to stop their dad from going to work and promises to get the sponsorship. Carissa seeks advice from Miami on how to reach 1 million followers. He takes her shopping, helping her pick out some body-exposing outfits. After many nights of partying and taking selfies while drinking, Carissa has now amassed 400,000 followers. As she begins to gain fame, she starts posting pictures of herself in body-exposing dresses, disregarding her former life. However, when she sees that one of her posts, where she exposes her body, has been liked by her sister, she feels guilty and deletes it. She confides in Jack that this isn't the life she wants and expresses her desire to quit. Suddenly, the villa is attacked by the Red Bandana Gang, but they are quickly subdued by the villa's security. When asked why he attacked the villa, the gang leader reveals that he came for Carissa. Fiona knocks him out, warning him to stay away from their turf since they've paid their dues. The police soon arrive, asking if anyone knows the whereabouts of Jane Fisher. Although Chloe is present, she denies knowing anything. The officers warn them to be careful, as many missing tourists have been reported lately, and instruct them to report anything suspicious. Jack takes Carissa to an exotic beach view where they relax. As they are about to get intimate, Carissa reveals that it's her first time. Jack is shocked and mutters to himself that he can't continue with the lies. He leaves abruptly. Meanwhile, in the villa, Chloe starts to cry, expressing her exhaustion from lying since Jane was taken against her will. She explains that she came to Thailand for the promised sponsorship deals, and now her friend is missing. To thank Chloe for not opening up to the police, Daniel wires her $1 million and tells her she's free to leave the villa. Just then, Jack walks in and announces that he's done working for whoever is sponsoring them after realizing that Jane was abducted. Fiona explains that this was their only option to clear Jack's debt faster, as he keeps losing at gambling. She reveals that all the missing tourists were sacrifices to clear Jack's debt. It turns out Jack has been texting influencers to come collaborate under the facade of securing sponsorships, but instead, they were auctioned off to wealthy individuals. Daniel pays Jack $1 million, warning him to stay away from Carissa since he wants her for himself. Overwhelmed by the realization of the situation, Jack walks away to tell Carissa everything so they can run away together. Carissa, confused, asks what's going on. Jack explains that during his gambling addiction, he lost a lot of money and borrowed $4 million from Daniel. After losing it all, he was nearly killed by Daniel, but because he's famous on the Fame app, some wealthy individuals wanted him. After satisfying them, they would pay Daniel the agreed amount. That's when he met Fiona, who was also indebted to Daniel after losing money she borrowed to start her clothing brand. To pay Daniel back, they both had to satisfy his rich friends. Over the years, they discovered they could use their influence to lure other influencers to meet these wealthy individuals to fulfill their fantasies. They would go to any extent to ensure this happened until Jane was kidnapped. Jack doesn't want the same fate for Carissa. At that moment, some influencers are being dragged away from their rooms. Jack and Carissa plan to run away, but Carissa refuses to leave without her friends. They head to Miami's room but can't find him. It turns out Jenner has been captured, but he easily overpowers the men and knocks them out before joining the duo. Meanwhile, Chloe, who was offered $1 million, is also captured. Daniel tells her she should have left the villa when she had the chance. As the trio runs through the villa toward the main entrance, Daniel shoots Jack in the leg before capturing Jenner and Carissa. Seeing Miami, Daniel reveals that Miami knew about Jane, but to keep him in line, they had to threaten the life of his younger sister, Felicia. Fiona takes her time injecting everyone with a substance that makes them unconscious. That night, Fiona injects Jack with a substance to wake him. She tells him that now that he's free, they can do whatever they want and that she's always loved him. Jack isn't keen on the idea and asks her about Carissa's whereabouts, reminding her that they broke up 2 years ago and she should move on. Next, at the auction house, an auctioneer presents the influencers to the wealthy individuals who want to fulfill their fantasies with them. Kim Credible, one of the skin influencers, ends up being sold to a Middle Eastern man for $3.2 million, while Jenner is sold for $4 million. Immediately after the auction, the influencers are blindfolded and carried onto the yacht where Daniel is about to play with Carissa. Just as he's about to satisfy himself, he gets called out by his henchmen. Once Daniel leaves the room, Carissa quickly changes her plans to attack him. At that moment, Jack walks in and Carissa, mistaking him for Daniel, attacks him. Jack quickly reveals he's the one, and Carissa hugs him tightly. Shortly after, Daniel re-enters the room and Jack attacks him, but he's easily taken down and knocked unconscious by Daniel. Just as he's about to finish Jack off, Carissa grabs a gun and threatens to shoot him, but instead, she knocks him out. Carissa rushes outside to rescue the others and finds Miami, who is about to be used for pleasure. After helping Miami, he quickly runs off the yacht in a lifeboat. Carissa goes back to the room and finds Jack, who's now conscious. Together they manage to rescue the remaining influencers. Unfortunately, they get cornered by Daniel, who is about to end Jack's life because he betrayed him. At that moment, the Thai police arrive led by Miami, who had left earlier to call for help. Finally, Daniel and his men are arrested, but he promises Jack that he'll come back for him. Chloe confesses to the police about Jane Fisher's abduction, and the police informs her that she will need to testify in at the police station. Carissa tells Jack that after all this, her family will still lose the farm. Jack reveals that during the chaos earlier, he sent her $1 million so she can still save their farm. Upon hearing this, Carissa is overwhelmed with joy. In the spirit of the moment, Jenner and Kim Credible confess their love for each other, hoping to take a break from the Fame app and start a family together. To capture the moment, Carissa takes a picture with the crew and tags her sister, Charlotte, whose reaction is unmatched. 3 months later, Carissa is back with her family on the farmhouse. Miami is moving into a new home with his sister, while Jenner and Kim Credible are enjoying quality time with their daughter. Just then, Carissa receives a message from Fiona, asking if she would like to know the whereabouts of the abducted influencer, Jane Fisher.